I am delighted to be welcoming Maiysha Clairborne to the chat room today. This is going to be your first presentation at the NLP conference. We're very excited to have you joining us this year.
Well, I am extremely excited. I'm honored and appreciative of being able to be able to present with such my esteemed colleagues of mine.
Oh, and it's lovely because you're able to join us virtually from over there in the States, which is the benefit of having the virtual element of the conference. So to start off with, Maiysha, your topic is using NLP timeline therapy to heal generational trauma, which sounds really, really interesting. Do please tell us a little bit more about yourself and your presentation.
Well, thank you. So my background is family medicine. So I'm a family physician. I practiced integrative medicine for a very long time, and I discovered NLP during my practice as a physician. And as I matriculated through, became a master practitioner, became a trainer, I began to work a lot, not only with my patients, but I started working with actual physicians and medical professionals who were burning out.
Mm.
And what I was discovering was there was a lot of unconscious trauma
Oh,
that actually went beyond their own generation. Like it
yeah.
was inherited conversations. And what I found is that as I worked with these physicians and began to help them release the impact, the emotions, the thought patterns that
Mm.
impacted them in the space, not only did it make them more effective in their work,
Yeah.
it gave them an increased sense of satisfaction and brought meaning back to their profession, but it also impacted how they were with their family and
Oh,
their children and
lovely.
in their personal life. And
Yes.
so it was really um, through doing that work to recognize and recontextualize the inherited conversations that this happened. And that's what I want to talk about, that process in the workshop that we'll be doing.
Wonderful. So, what will delegates take away from your session?
Well, so they will take away, number one, they'll take away the work itself. Like, what is the process that I went through in order to help these clients of mine move through that? I'll
Yeah.
give them some examples of what are some of the outcomes that could possibly be gained and some implications for the future. You know,
Mm.
one of the things that I'm really passionate about is impacting future generations and how this work of healing generational trauma can also help and impact our future generations and help them to flourish and thrive in a
Yeah.
world that's frankly very challenging these days.
Yes, absolutely, and that's got to be a gift for everybody, hasn't it? So,
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds really, really interesting. So, what, if anything, can delegates do before they come to your session to prepare them for getting the most out of your session?
Well, you know, they might, if you haven't heard of timeline therapy, you might want to read a little bit about what that is, because we'll be talking about that. I imagine most delegates have a foundation in neurolinguistic programming, so that part is there. And maybe bring some examples of how you might in your practice or in the work with yourself, how you might want to apply this. I always say when I train my students, bring your life because yes, there's learning to be done, but the learning also is very
Yes.
personal. And I
Yeah.
want them to get something to take away for themselves as well.
Yes. So always a good tip.
Yes.
So as I said at the beginning, this is your first conference with us, and we're delighted to have you joining us. So, what does the NLP International Conference mean to you?
Wow, it means that I get to interface with my colleagues from all over the world. And that in and of itself, this global community
Mm.
is just such a gift. And so to be able to interface with and even impact, I'm very much committed to global impact.
Yeah.
So it means that I get to use my voice to create a global impact, and
Yeah.
then connect with my colleagues from around the world, and maybe even form some new relationships and collaborations.
I think quite a few of those have happened at the conference over the years. It's been wonderful to just see seeds being sown and and flowers flourishing in future years. It's lovely.
Yeah.
So as I said, for those watching, Maiysha is presenting at the virtual part of the NLP conference, which is the second weekend, and Maiysha is presenting at 17:30 BST, so a reasonable time for you in the States. You haven't got to get up at midnight, and
Right.
that's on Saturday, the 20th of May. And as I said, your presentation topic is using NLP timeline therapy to heal generational trauma, which sounds really, really interesting. So
Very.
thank you so much, Maiysha. Really looking forward to your presentation, and really looking forward to seeing you next year.
Thank you, Karen, for just inviting me to the chat, and for, to the delegates for watching. And I look forward to seeing you all in May.